Okay, moving on to item B, request to make changes to the middle school reading program. Mrs. Sardine.
This is a one-year request because we have an opportunity to do something different due to really the Project Lead the Way changes that are happening with the curriculum. And also because over the years, we've had many requests of whether or not our 8th graders need to be enrolled in a reading class. So the proposal is that for next year that we would allow 8th grade students who meet specific criteria to enroll in a world language class rather than take 8th grade reading. And again, as I've mentioned, the rationale for that is we, over the years, have been asked many times, does my child have to be in reading? It's been raised by parents and it's been raised by teachers who believe that some of our more gifted students might benefit from being able to have some other options available for them. And as I said, due to Project Lead the Way, we have both our German and Spanish teacher opened up in the morning, first and second hour, and they would be able to teach their year-long classes during that time. So in the past we've had we've had German available, but not Spanish, and we recognize that we need to maintain some equity so that one program isn't favored over another when it comes to students being able to have electives in that area. So the benefits to being able to do this for next year is we're hoping that we could get about 40 students on each team to be able to enroll in a year language class. And that would free up at least 2 class periods where our 8th grade reading teachers could be offering some interventions to struggling readers, so providing them with some additional help. Whether we decide that those 8th grade teachers would actually go down and do some additional work with our 6th grade students or our 8th grade students, I'm not exactly sure, but we know we'd have some time for them to provide some interventions. It benefits the students because they would be able to, for at least 1 year, have some additional elective offerings. They'd be able to take that world language course during first or second hour, and then during the related arts block, which is 8th and 9th hour, they could also grab an art class or music class, the Project Lead the Way course, any of those kinds of things. And again, with the financial constraints that the district is facing, we are looking at some possible changes in how we program reading at the middle school level. So we believe that freeing up some time would give us an opportunity for a couple of reading teachers to begin exploring the literacy coach concept, come up with some suggestions and ideas on how they think we can best implement that at the middle school. When this information was presented to the board curriculum committee, Mrs. Jestinger had suggested that we, as best as possible, have the criteria laid out for what would be required for students who could take the world language class. And so I have met with the reading teachers, and you have an application for students who could apply to take the full year world language class. The teachers felt that it was very important that there was some motivation on the part of students, and they felt by them having to complete an application that would show that they're motivated to do that. We would be looking at a number of criteria. We're looking for students that would have a B or better grade average in 6th and 7th grade reading, and then proficiency in reading as determined by, not necessarily all of those things that are listed there, but by some of those things. So the Wisconsin Knowledge and Concepts exam, for instance, this year's 7th graders, I looked at their results because they would be the students that could enroll in this next year if you approve it. 80 students were advanced in reading and on the WKCE, and there's 172, so there's another 92 that were proficient. So 172 kids have already demonstrated proficiency on the state test when it comes to reading. But we would also be looking at The progress monitoring tool that we use at the middle school, which is McDougall Little, a reading placement test that we use, our common assessments that we use, and of course teacher observation. And then we've included also a strong attendance pattern. We think it's important that they have demonstrated that they're in school on a regular basis. We'd ask them to write a short essay, get the name of an additional teacher who would recommend them, and then of course parent permission. So that would be, I guess, the criteria that we would be looking at for determining who the students were that would be able to enroll in the class. And again, this really is probably just a one-year opportunity for our students if the changes that we've suggested due to the budget repair process go into place, and we do have to change the reading program at the middle school. So I'm looking for your permission to offer this for next year.
I make a motion that we approve this.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second then to approve the requested changes to the middle school reading program for the 1 year. Okay. Is there any discussion, questions? You had a lot of input from all the teachers were excited for this?
We've talked about this for a number of years. It's been something that we've, talked about. The reading teachers are struggling because there are changes happening with their program, so I can't tell you that they're, but they worked on this with us, came up with the application, they're willing, one of the comments made at the meeting was, they are all reading teachers, they have their 316 degree, and they said, we can't disagree because we know that the research says the focus on reading should be at the primary levels, and we know that there's work that we could be doing as leaders in the building in the content areas helping teachers read. So even though they're struggling with my job is changing, they also understand that there are different ways to provide reading.
And there is some mechanism in place at the middle school with the team times and some things that they've done to provide collaboration time that make it more usable and doable. Is it something I think it's an attempt to make lemonade out of a lemon, to use an old analogy. But it can work at the middle school. I
was going to say I'm more comfortable.
I'm
with
more
this
comfortable
at the
with
middle
it,
school
yeah.
level. Yeah. I guess because just to say it out loud, I'm only comfortable there. I understand we may have to look at it in other places, and we may end up having to do that. But it works. It works here.
I am glad that more students can take a year-long language, foreign language, for Spanish and German. I think that's important for some of those students to have that opportunity.
And with the project, with the Lead the Way project, I think that's a natural fit with this too. It is at the right time.
Change isn't always easy.
No.
But I think getting the core academic teachers involved in reading instruction and really assuming that responsibility is positive.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy.